Hey everybody, happy Thursday. We've got another neat little video here, hopefully for you. And remember a video or two ago, we talked about the skull and about how important that was. And as you work through your piece, as I'm doing all of this, now when I get onto the piece, after I've studied kind of what I'm trying to focus on in terms of the skull and the expression on that horse, now you can see how that manifests itself on the piece itself. And I'll show you some of those key areas we talked about with this video on the skull, and how it shows here, and kind of how I do an eyeball, because eyes are so expressive, and that really speaks a lot about the structure in terms of the horse and that. So let me show you here. First of all, now remember we talked about the zygomatic arch, and it had a pretty S curve on it. Well, you can see here, it starts up, see all these are lined up, and it comes right along here, and then comes down and flares this. You want a nice light here. You can see the dark right on this part here. All of this really helps express this horse's head. And then see how this bone here, you can see the bone coming out and around the eyeball. And as I turn it, an old horse, he can kind of see out the front here, so this slides in like this. And then there's a little pouch of flesh right under that eye, and you kind of bring it down and around. And you'll notice the eyeball here. I'll show you kind of how I do that, because that bone structure is really important in terms of expressing this horse. And when I do eyeballs, you can see here, I'll show you the difference between the two clays. This is a clay I normally will do the piece in, like the body of the horse, and that is, and you can see how soft it is. You can really sculpt it and work it a lot. Now this clay here, it's made by the same company, but I'll try and measure it. You can see how much stiffer it is. It's a real stiff clay, so what I'll do is I'll make a little eyeball for each side of this socket. And as I've sculpted the socket in there, I'll cut the little part out there for the eyeball, and then put it into the eye, and then I can take the softer clay and sculpt the actual structure all the way around. So you can get that nice soft pouch under here, and you can get his eyebrow coming across, or eyelashes I should say, coming here, and this nice feel of that bone as it comes around the eye. This comes out and around, and it comes out this way and over more towards the center of the head. And it starts to express this horse really well in terms of his eyes. And then you can see here, you can see where the little muscles come down here and here along the skull. Now I exaggerate sometimes right in here to give him a little more expression. And like with this horse here, he's going to be kind of in a erect, so one ear's kind of going off this way and one ear's looking here towards the front. But you can see how that bony structure really shows up all the way around. When you're expressing these horses, that bone is really important. And speaking of the kind of horse that he is, whether he's more kind of hammer-headed or if he's a little pig-eyed or something, and being able to really put that skeletal structure underneath it and then put just enough flesh on there so that it expresses it really well. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.